Good morning. Welcome to this Unitarian Universalist Church, which includes our congregations in Birmingham, here, and in Tuscaloosa. Hello, folks online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are today on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. To all who are here this morning, welcome home. The prelude prepares us for worship.
The rest of the sentence says, in no small part, thanks to you. So thank you. We should all feel really good to be a part of a church who gives back every month, and really sincerely thank you guys. They were very appreciative. Secondly, this is sort of a big announcement, and you guys may have questions afterwards, so you can see me. But several members of the Justice Committee, along with Reverend Julie, have been working for the last few months to upgrade our food ministry and our dry goods pantry. And this week, we completed inspections and an orientation, and we signed an agreement to be a partner with the Community Food Bank of Alabama, which is a really big deal. So many churches in Alabama are partnered with them on their food ministry efforts, and they have a lot of success with them helping reach more neighbors in need. They'll be providing support to us as well as all of our food and household items for pennies on the dollar. And they're also going to be marketing our church to the community as a place to receive help. So we're really proud of this partnership and the ability it gives us to legitimize and ramp up our food ministry efforts, and we wanted to let you guys know. But also they've given us some swag to share with you guys, which is on the table in the narthex. And you guys maybe noticed when you pulled up a sign out front that says new proud partner outside of the church. So we really think this is going to help us. And like I said, it's a marketing tool for our church as well. When people need food assistance, they will see us in our operating hours, and we think it'll really help. So if If you guys have questions, let me know. That's it. Oh, thanks. So Patty says, 2 birds, 1 stone. I'm also a member of the board and will be reading the offertory, so she doesn't have to get up. Our church is supported by those who call our church home and by those who support the efforts of our church to change our world for the better. If this is your first time here with us, please pass the plate. We're just happy you're here. We share our cash plate every Sunday with organizations whose work reflects UU values to care for marginalized persons, advocate for real and systemic change, defend our environment, and promote justice and equity for all. Today, we're sharing our plate with Greater Birmingham Ministries. GBM is a multi-faith, multiracial organization that provides emergency services for people in need and engages in systemic change efforts to build a strong, supportive, engaged community and pursue a more just society for all people. We appreciate your donations either by placing them in the plate, by mailing your donation to the church, or by using PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. More information is found in the order of service. Thank you for your generous support of our church and our Share the Plate recipient. May we give in love and hope.
Good morning, everyone. I'm also doing the meditation today. I'm reading out of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. It's a very mysterious ancient philosophical text. I was remarking to my husband that I felt like every stanza in this could work for our meditation today. So I am just going to open to a random page. And we are going to see what Lao Tzu has for us today. Before the universe was born, there was something in the chaos of the heavens. It stands alone and empty, solitary and unchanging. It is ever present and secure. It may be regarded as the mother of the universe. Because I do not know its name, I call it the Tao. If I was forced to give it a name, I would call it great. Thank you. Now let's take a moment for meditation.
We got things a little out of order. If you'd like to come forward and drop in a stone for joy or concern, please come forward now. everybody. I am not your storyteller, but come forward and we'll just chat this morning. How's that? Everyone who wants to come down for Time for All Ages, please come down. Very good. How are you guys doing today? And so what are you studying downstairs in RE? Cooking. Oh my gosh, what have you cooked? Bagels, cookies, pies, and Courtney. Yay!
I was waiting for a meditation, so I'm very confused. Sorry. I was like, what? Me? Oh, Patty's messing with me this morning. Sorry. Got me all messed up. All right. Hi, my friends. How are you? We have a lot of friends. Aria! Come on in. So good morning, everyone. I have a question for you today. Have you ever learned anything from another person? Never learned from another person. Lily has. Lily, you look a little sleepy. And apparently Miss Amethyst has taught some stuff. It's a little bit rowdy today, y'all. So now raise your hand if you've ever learned anything from an animal. You ever learned anything from an animal? No? What about from a tree? Learn how to breathe air from a tree? That's true. What about like a river or a flower? See, sometimes our very best teachers aren't even people. It's the world around us. So in Unitarian Universalism, we believe that wisdom can come from many places. We learn from science, from stories, from different religions and cultures. We learn from our own experiences, from living in the world all around us, we learn. Yes, Ollie. Yes, we're all mammals. That's why we're furry. We do learn from animals, you're absolutely right. So that's a part of our shared value of pluralism, recognizing that no one person or tradition has all of the answers. We grow by listening with open hearts to many teachers, and one of my very favorite unexpected teachers, Aria. One of my very unexpected teachers is Aria, but also chickens. Chickens. You do have chickens. Have you learned anything from your chickens? How they lay eggs, exactly. Now, chickens don't usually give speeches. They don't really write books. They don't stand in pulpits. You didn't bring any chickens with you today, did you, Lilith? Lilith could have brought a chicken for the pulpit. But if you've ever watched a flock of chickens, you'll notice something. When one chicken finds a tasty bug, she often makes a special sound to call the others over. So instead of hiding all the food, she says to her own chicken, in her own chicken way, "Come on over and look what I found." Pretty cool. And the little chicks learn by watching older hens, and they discover where to scratch for seeds. They find shade, where to be careful, and they're always paying attention to each other and the world around them. The chickens remind us that learning isn't something we do all by ourselves. We learn together. So nature has many teachers like that. Trees that teach us how to breathe can also teach us patience. They teach us to not rush to grow. Year after year, they stretch a little bit higher. Bees teach us cooperation. One bee couldn't make a hive all by itself, right? They need a lot of bees. They need a whole bunch of bees because they create something together amazing. And the rivers teach us persistence. They keep flowing around the rocks instead of giving up. And then the chickens teach us to stay curious, to notice what's around us and to share what we discover. All of these teachers remind us of another shared UU value, interdependence. It's a big word that means what? Man. Well, what happens when someone passes gas? We all are interdependent and smell it. Grown-ups, do you know what interdependence is? That we're all connected. Man, y'all need to come downstairs. We gotta talk. So interdependence is a big word that means we're all connected. And the chickens depend on the soil for worms and seeds. The soil depends on tiny creatures that we can barely even see. The plants depend on sunshine and rain. And people depend on plants, animals, clean water, and one another. And believe it or not, we depend on chickens too, not just for dinner. Chickens help us spread seeds, they scratch the soil, they eat insects, and in many places, they provide the eggs that people eat. Even something as ordinary as a chicken has an important place in our great web of life. And when one part of the web is cared for, the whole web grows stronger. When one part is hurt, we all feel it. And that means everything has something to teach us. Every living thing matters. So the next time you're outside, which is not going to be right now because it's raining, I invite you to wonder, what can this tree teach me? What can this tiny ant teach me? What can this funny little chicken teach me today? If we keep our hearts open, we may discover that the world is full of teachers that we never expected, because in our UU faith, learning isn't about finding the one right answer. It's about listening deeply. It's about asking good questions, caring for one another, and growing together. So this week, learn from many teachers. Care for all the living things around you. Celebrate our differences. And remember that like the roots of a forest, like the flocks of chickens, or the threads of a spider web, we're all connected. May we continue to learn with curiosity, live with compassion, and to care for the beautiful web that's all around us. Blessed be, and amen. My grown-up friends, could you sing us downstairs for some community time? Yeah, take it downstairs.
Let me introduce our speaker today, Lilith Stubbston. They, them is a farmer, spiritual seeker, and an artist. They live with their husband on 3.5 acres of magical land in Bessemer. They have been attending UU since September 2025.
Hey, friends. Oh, can you hear me? Nope. There we go. Hi, y'all. Hi. So before I get started, I'd like to make a couple brief announcements. First of all, my whole family is here to see me. My mother is the woman who looks exactly like me. My mother-in-law is the woman who looks exactly like my husband. And my father is the tall gentleman accompanying them. Please give them the type of warm welcome that only UUs can possibly do. Next, I would like to point out that I grew and arranged the pulpit flowers today. These are all from my garden. I am working towards growing my business as a locally sourced florist, and so if you need flowers for your next dinner party, graduation, or anything like that, hit me up. I will make you something beautiful entirely with stuff I have grown or foraged. Thank you. So on with the show. Hello, my name is Lilith. I use they, them pronouns, and I have been attending this church since September of last year. In the months that have passed since my first service, I have seen the sudden refinement and maturation of my spiritual self. Many things have coalesced and come into focus, specifically in regards to my understanding of divinity. Several factors have influenced this, and coming to identify with Unitarian Universalism is absolutely one of them. But there are others. I would like to share with you today some of the factors and influences that I have identified along the winding path to my higher self. It is my deepest hope that some of these lessons will resonate within your soul as well. My first category of influence requires a contextual piece of information about me. I am a diagnosed schizophrenic. I received my diagnosis when I was 24, and I am now 30. Like any chronic medical condition, it can, and in fact must be, carefully managed. I see a therapist, I take medication, and I very carefully structure my day-to-day life. I am generally pretty successful at these things and have an amazing prognosis, according to my healthcare team. So yay. I bring this up to illustrate that I perhaps have a foot in both worlds. I have a little shine to me, or I'm a witch, however you want to put it. I see the threads that tie the universe together. I can feel the correspondences between symbols in my bones. God speaks very freely with me. In another time and place, perhaps I would have been called a shaman or a wise woman or a seer, and perhaps I would not have suffered the things I have. As I continued through this piece, I would like for you to keep the mystical elements of my diagnosis front and center in your mind. Open your heart to cosmic mysteries and allow the understanding to wash over you. Now, here are the lessons. One of my most intense and impactful teachers I have encountered in this lifetime is my dear husband, Kylie. Of course, many of you know him. He's a member of this church as well. I must admit that before I met him, I was a man-hating lesbian who felt I had nothing to learn from men. I truly have no explanation for the turn my life took, besides the obvious answer that I fell in love with a very, very special human. Within him, he carries a wisdom that even my most confrontationally feminist self cannot deny. And I'm not looking at him so I don't cry. Every day, he teaches me about patience, love, compassion, and contentment. I don't like to shill for large corporations, but when I think of our relationship, I'm reminded of a phrase said by Pocahontas' father in the Disney movie about her life. "Why don't you marry the warrior Kocoum? He is steady as the beating drum." That's my man. Steady as the beating drum. Kylie is also 7 years older than me, so I often come to have certain spiritual revelations sometime after he has already learned them. For instance, I am currently reading How to Practice a Meaningful Life by the Dalai Lama, and it's blowing my mind. One day, I asked him, "Is it cute to watch me learn things you're already aware of? Or is it frustrating to have to rehash them and guide me?" He looked at me and he said, "Don't we love to see a flower bloom?" To this day, this remains the most romantic thing anyone has ever said to me. Another prolific teacher has been moving into a house on 3.5 acres of land that Kylie inherited from his grandfather. We are building a farm and thus living in deep commune with nature. One of the creatures we steward on this land is the noble chicken. If you have had a conversation with me, even in passing, you've probably heard me mention my chickens. I adore them, and I care for them meticulously. Chickens have been domesticated a very long time. They have been walking beside us for over 8,000 years. They were created by the careful breeding and ecological stewardship of our ancient ancestors. Originally, their innards and their bones were used for divination and ceremonial purposes, as our ancestors obviously recognized their immense spiritual potency. Once, I saw a broody hen sitting on a clutch of eggs. I studied her, and I noticed she was closing her eyes and breathing fast and heavy. I asked Kylie what he thought she was doing. He said she's doing her breathing exercises to increase her body temperature and effectively incubate her eggs. A thought rushed into my mind. I had read accounts of the ancient Tibetan Zen masters who could sit for hours on the sides of exposed cliffs and never freeze to death. They accomplished this by engaging in a deep meditation and allowing the animating forces of the universe to warm them internally. This practice was called raising the mystic heat level. It became suddenly clear to me that that little hen was performing a high-level, esoteric meditative practice. They say the primordial force of the universe, the Tao, flows like water to lowly places, and that, perhaps, it pools among the least of us, like chickens. As I watched the little hen, the overwhelming feeling that I was in the presence of an esteemed spiritual teacher came over me. I had very much to learn from every living creature I encountered. I never looked at that little hen quite the same way. Another lesson, chicken lesson, came after reading Mankind's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, a book detailing life in a Nazi concentration camp. One experience from the book goes like this. When the camp was finally liberated, a group of formerly imprisoned men took a walk around the countryside. The sights they saw were utterly mundane and yet sublime after living in the hellscape of the camp. One of the things they saw was a rooster. It had beautiful long tail feathers and jumped from branch to branch in an apple tree. The men, having been so deprived of beauty, safety, and nature, wept at the sight of this bird. It was like divinity itself had taken a living form. And when I awaken before my family, slink out to the barnyard, and take a few quiet moments to observe my chickens, I find myself pondering this story. As I watch my rooster strut and my heart swells with joy, I know I am tapping into something far greater than myself. I am bearing witness to all of creation, and I am basking in its glory. Another creature that plays an integral role on our farm is our poultry dog, Boris. He is a Karakachin shepherd from Bulgaria. His breed is ancient and has been used to guard livestock for centuries. He is, in short, the very best boy. His role on our farm is protector of our flock, since we live in a deeply wooded area with many hungry predators. He is a star employee. We have only lost one chicken to predation since he came of age. But I want to clear up a common misconception about our boy. He is not an agent of violence. I often get the same reaction when I tell folks what his job is, and that reaction is, "Aw, he kills the raccoons and the skunks." In fact, I have no evidence that Boris has ever killed a raccoon. His function is different. The Tao Te Ching says this: deal with a thing while it is still nothing. Keep things in order before the disorder sets in. Boris is an agent of conflict resolution. His loud, boisterous presence deters the predators from ever even coming onto our land. He prevents the violence from ever even occurring. The pearl of wisdom I have gleaned from him is this: taking a strong, love-centered attitude towards preventing violence is what stops further escalation. Keeping peace within our community is paramount to maintaining our way of life. Boris is a peacemaker in the same school as the ancient Tibetan Rinpoches. The final section of lessons has to do with a universal force of which I'm sure we are all acquainted, the mystery of death. Like all farms, we have seen our fair share of death. Once, we checked our brooder full of tiny chicks to find one that was far too weak to stand. Kylie scooped it up and held it softly. It let out several loud peeps and then expired in his hands. The little thing held on to life until it had our company to bring comfort to its transition. That was the day I came to truly understand that bringing dignity and love to the end of a being's existence is one of the most worthwhile tasks one can take on in this life. I know I will encounter the soul that inhabited that little chick again someday. Perhaps the most intense and poignant lesson on death came when Kylie's grandfather passed away. He was the one passing the house and the land on to us, and we had been his full-time caretakers for going on 3 years. He was also the patriarch of our family and held a mighty image in many minds. On a warm March night, while I was away at Camp McDowell for an LGBTQ Christian retreat, Grandpa passed in his sleep. He went softly in his own bed. My mother-in-law and I had bathed him the day before, so he was clean and comfortable. I rushed home in the middle of the night to help my little family deal with this transition. When I saw my husband cradling his mother as she cried, I noticed that they were the spitting image of Christ and Mother Mary. I wondered if Jesus had comforted his own mother when her earthly father passed. I wondered if he had whispered to her words of kingdom come, as Kylie was doing now. He was, after all, the living Son. In that moment, something I knew intellectually finally clicked in my soul. We are one with the great creator of the universe. There is no separation between us and the infinite and unknowable. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are in the mind of God. Amen and blessed be.
Thank you so much, Lewis. Please rise and bow to your spirit to sing our closing hymn. It's in the soft cover hymnal, number 1046, Shall We Gather at the River? Please check out your order of service and your connection card for upcoming events for all the following: Please sign up the connection card if you're interested and turn it into the ushers at the end of the service. Due to construction, there are no accessible meeting spaces downstairs today. If the weather allows, please use our beautiful church grounds for your meetings. We apologize for the inconvenience, and construction will be done soon. The decorating committee, and I need to go look at all of this beautiful art, invite you to enjoy the new sanctuary art exhibit. It's prints by members of the Paper Workers Local. It's a nonprofit artist cooperative here in Birmingham. Information about the art pieces can be found in the 3-ring binder next to the double doors. Wonderstead information session will be today after the service here in the sanctuary. Wonderstead info sessions via Zoom will be on Thursday, July 30th at 6:30, and Kim will email out a link out the day of the Zoom meeting. The church office will be closed tomorrow while the Alabama Power Company hooks up our solar panels. So, yeah. Please return your connection cards to the ushers at the end of the service. And we also have a special announcement by Eddie Easterling.
Thank you. Good morning. Next week, on Sunday, August the 2nd, we will be having a church-wide potluck dinner, or lunch. I don't know, whatever you call it. And anyway, so bring a dish. I slipped into my Southern Baptist thing just then. I said a covered dish. That's what I was growing up. So, but anyway, bring a dish, and it'll be immediately after the service. Well, immediately after service, we'll need to set up. So what we'll need are a few volunteers to help set up the tables, move the chairs, and all that. And the more we have, the quicker we can eat.
Are we going to do the tables all the way down front like we did one time, where they just start here and go in a big row?
We haven't gotten that far. But anyway, that'll be next Sunday. So bring that dish, and we look forward to having you all there.
Yay. And your dish can be a bag of chips if you forget. Just stop on your way. And even if you forget a dish, please still stay and join us. Let us leave this gathering not with the pressure to be polished, but with the permission to be real, to say the awkward thing kindly, to reach out before the words are perfect, to risk being seen, and in doing so, make space for others to be seen too. In a world that often asks us to curate and filter, may we remember truth is magnetic, and small acts of honesty can call a community into being. Carry this light with you, not in your hands, but in your words, in your invitations, and in your willingness to begin.
I did want to say that the meditation room is set up downstairs if you wanted to stay after for meditation today. That's why I'm so sweaty. So.